stayed too long. He did the transition a second time. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Erasmus Expeditions, where this is a very professional, polished show. I am Jeremy, and yeah, this takes place in a homebrewed world of mine known as Rostveen, particularly in the kingdom of Gerdes, which is heavily based on the Baroque periods of Spain, France, and Venice. This is Evermore le Masquerade. This will be episode 42 of our ongoing D&D 5th edition campaign. And this episode is going to be titled A Masterless House. We'll have to find out why that is here in just a bit. But before we do, I'm going to give the same warning that I give on the beginning of all of my games, and that is if foul language and mature subject matter are a problem for you, then this is not a good place for you to spend time. Particularly this game, while we will never feature illicit, explicit sex, we're going to get about as close as we can. Because that is a part of the Gerdessi culture. And, you know, it's fun. So, if you're into that kind of stuff, then congratulations. You have probably found a good place for you to spend some time. Okay, I'm going to pass things over to my players so that they can introduce themselves, plug anything that they might have going on, tell you where you may be able to find them on the internet, and then I think we can get started. We're going to start with Kenya.
I was like, you can't let me down, Jeremy. It's been so long since we played. Where's that? You gotta put me on the spot like that. Even though I know it's coming, I'm never prepared. Hey everybody, I'm Kenya. I am playing Vera, who is the owner of a very high class brothel in the city, and I am super excited to get back into this game. I have missed you guys to death. Like, I miss this game. So I'm very glad that we are back here to play tonight, and I cannot wait to see what Jeremy has in store for us. Knock some of the dust off these characters. So with that, I'm going to pass it on down to Matt.
Hello, I'm Matt, and tonight, as always, I'm playing Locksley LaCroix, originally called Locksley de Pluma. We have come to find out in that he is a former noble whose house was wiped out by the current head of the Justicaros, who also made our hit list last session for things that we need to deal with. So we may see confrontation there at some point, I'm sure. Yeah, really excited to be getting back to this game. I've been missing it tremendously. So yeah, let's get to it. I'll go ahead and pass it on over to Em.
Hi everyone, I'm Em. I'm super excited to jump back into this game and to play and to get back into the world. So yeah, super excited to dive in. I'll be playing Sylvie Levine, and that's pretty much it for me. I will pass it on to Austin.
Hello. Glad I could make it in time for intros. Not a lot to say. I just flew in the door, so I am a little rattled, and I'm excited to get back to playing. That's about all I got. I'm also working on trying to set up headphones because they are not showing up. So if you hear me just make weird noises, that's why. I'm trying to get that figured out. But so excited to keep going, and I'll pass it up to Karen.
Hello everyone, I'm Karen, otherwise known as Myth and Gears, and if you hear me making weird noises, it's just because I am weird. Today I'm going to play Cameron Diego Ruiz y Gonzala, and I am so excited to get back to this game. It's been so long. And with that, I'm going to send it to Jeremy. So go.
So go. Yeah, I'm super thrilled to finally be getting back to this. We don't usually have hiatuses. Shut up, it's a word. Here on this game. So it's definitely been I've missed it a lot. So I'm excited to get back to it, especially since we are well into the third act, and I might know what's cooking. So I'm excited for it. So I think that's all of the business that we need to go over, unless I'm forgetting anything. So unless there's any other comments, questions, concerns, then I think we can go ahead and get started. Yeah? Okay. Let's do it. Most would advise against using violence just because someone took something away from you. It seems an extreme overreaction to cause physical harm for such a slight. But if those in charge are the ones who took it, suddenly your other methods of recourse vanish. You are then stuck with only 3 options. Plead with them to return what was precious to you, steal it back away from them, or make certain that they understand fully the measure of the mistake they made in taking it from you in the first place. Only one of these methods is likely to mean that they will never take something from you again. We find ourselves once again in the canaled city of Alidalgo. It is not quite as luminous as it was when we first began our story. Ever since Mardival, people have been a little less able to bounce back, it seems. They are a little dour. There's less people who are active during the day. Less joy seems to be flowing through the city than it usually is. There's less people singing. Even the gondoliers who still sing, there's the songs that they're choosing to sing are ones of sorrow, heartbreak, which is unusual. But at least 5 individuals who live here in Alidalgo might have some idea as to why everybody seems to be a little down in the dumps lately. Our heroes, we'll go ahead and borrow that term, have been the subjects of a little bit of sorrow of their own, a little heartbreak. They might have picked a fight with somebody who is connected enough to make their lives miserable. And that certainly seems to be what the Padre Primero has been doing. Recently, as a bit of a recap, you got a chance, Chimerian in particular, to meet with an old friend. For the last time, perhaps. It seemed Vitor had been changed by the nemesis that you have faced here and abroad for some time, and you decided to put an end to it. Wisely, maybe? I guess we'll see. And Ella sent Vera a message that seemed like she was on to something and was going to go do something about it. She left with the note a white swan feather that seemed to match the feather that you found on the murdered Gesticaro at the Masquerade. So, you tracked these feathers down to a dressmaker who was new to the city, as far as their own shop, that is, at least, because it was Sylvie's assistant. But when you went to go talk to her, her store was burned down with her in it. You found a chest that was filled with silver, and the silver had been minted with the celebratory symbol celebrating the union of Lavinia Strozzi and her new husband. And I believe that that's where we left off last time. So I believe that Vera and Lox had gone to check on the dressmaker. And then the other three had gone to meet with Vitor. Okay. So I think we can probably jump to the point when the five of you are getting back together. So where would that be, and what would the conversation be like? What would the general mood be when we catch up with you?
We're still staying at Sylvie's contact's place, right? We still have access to that? Then I feel like that's probably the most logical place for us to meet up, is back at the safe house. So, being that Lox and Vera left where, like, the kind of location and then wandered downtown and stuff and kind of took a walk, I think maybe they probably arrive before the others do, I would think, because we kind of were moving. Vera had a little bit of her breakdown in the alleyway there and kind of left the situation with asking Lox about whether she was a bad person for being relieved that the dead person they saw burned wasn't Ella, but it was instead Sylvie's apprentice. And I believe, if I remember correctly, he said something along the lines of, "It doesn't make me a bad person that I'm relieved someone I cared about didn't die. It's just unfortunate that it happens to be someone else's cared about person." I feel like Vera's probably very quiet for the rest of the walk home. She probably keeps an arm wrapped in Lox's. There's a sense of, like, needing the reassurance that he's there. And then once they get inside the room, she kind of just sits on the bed and can I know this is a terrible thing to ask, but can I not be the one to tell Sylvie? I just don't know if I can.
I got you. I can do it.
Thanks.
Yeah. Listen, things are feeling a little, yeah, tight right now. We feel the vice kind of closing in, right? But it means we're hitting them where it hurts. We're getting their attention because we're making a difference. I think it's important that you and I keep up appearances, keep our spirits up if we can. We're going to need everyone focused, I think.
Yeah. It's the funny thing about growing up where I did and watching all of them and then becoming them. And then now raising. It's the weirdest style of parenting, now raising the next generation of those who do what I do. And then being what I am. Sometimes I don't know if it's easier when I reshape my body or when I reshape my personality. They're both so natural to me at this point. But yeah, you're right. We're obviously not going to be sunshines and rainbows when we tell Sylvie this news, but you make a good point. We're hitting them where it hurts. I really need to get the Castillo back. Like, really. I'm kind of sick of being in this lovely accommodation. I miss my dresses.
The Castillo would definitely be my preference, but hey, at least we have a spot.
Yes, we do.
Safe as far as we know.
Did you hear that? I think I hear them coming up the stairs.
And Locks will just as we hear the footsteps up the stairs, Locks just puts a hand on Vera's shoulder and just gives a single firm sort of squeeze before the others come in.
And she'll return it with a quick pat, like on his knee.
As the door opens and the three of you come in, is there a conversation that is happening, or what is the general vibe?
I think during our time coming back, Cameron had been trying to, keep things light, pretend he was okay. And I think that fell probably flat at least 15 minutes ago before we got here. And so, for one, I think he's very quiet at this moment.
What about Sylvia or Guillaume?
Honestly, my recollection, as long ago as it was, is that Guillaume did not seem fully aware of what had transpired. So I think he's like picking up a little bit on the vibe being a little off and is kind of holding his tongue, but doesn't seem to know exactly why everyone seems so sad all of a sudden. He's just assuming the meeting didn't go great, which is true.
Yeah, I think Sylvia is also very quiet. I think looks to Chimeran like repeatedly, like every so often, as if she's going to say something, but then doesn't.
And I think Chimeran maybe kind of senses that you're looking and he's refusing to look at you. I think that's the only way he can kind of hold it together at this moment. And I think maybe he's probably the first through the door of the where we're staying, and maybe just kind of catches Vera doing the gesture to Locks. And just like, oh, I'm sorry. Are we interrupting anything? I mean, we could come back later. Again, with that tone that's kind of trying to be uplifting and jovial, but just kind of falls a little short.
Well, yeah, and like the sort of you're walking into sort of a sullen silence in the room as well, with like Vera and Lox both like fully clothed, like dirty from the day, and standing like 3 feet apart from each other. Uh, Lox will kind of still, despite that, give a little courtesy. Good to see y'all too. Uh, Hoping your outing went better than ours.
Does that mean you didn't go very well? Yeah. What happened?
We we went looking for Ella, and well, we found a message left for Vera, and it led us to a tailor shop. Uh, it actually belonged to, I believe she was your apprentice, Sylvie. Costanza.
Vera's like slowly kind of moving towards Sylvie.
You see Sylvie nod slowly, like unblinking at you, Locks.
The the shop was in ruins. It burned down, and well, as near as I can tell, Sylvie, Costanza was inside when it burned.
I think you see like all that portrays on Sylvie's face is like the sharp, very poignant inhale. Her eyes don't leave yours as she does this. I see. And you did not find Ella?
No, we didn't.
But she left this, and I will give Sylvie the feather, the white feather, um, and also taking the opportunity as I sort of put it in Sylvie's hand, like giving her a quick like squeeze on her hand, just sort of like a firm squeeze.
Yeah, I think you'd feel like Sylvie almost flinch at that as you can see she is like still almost unblinking looking at this feather.
I believe Chimeran, having heard this what you've imparted to Sylvie, has actually stepped forward and is like right behind and to the right of Sylvie, is not actually at this moment trying to give her any comfort, maybe seeing how she flinched from Loxley's touch, but is just there in case he's needed.
So what now? What do we do? You see, Sylvie has almost like kind of shaken, she has like shaken her head and is snapped out of whatever she was in, and she looks to the rest of you.
Well, I suppose that depends on how your meeting went. Which
It was a complete bust. We learned nothing.
I see.
So, there was a clue, or I don't know, something that came out of this tragedy. We also found this, and she points over to the small table that's in the room where the charred and burnt chest is that Lox had carried out of the fire, out of the rubble, and lied through his teeth to convince them that he was a lawyer and would find the correct person to pass it along to. There's we haven't opened it yet, but it was in the building, and Lox grabbed it. Maybe there's something useful, or at least something sentimental in there. I'm not sure. She was closest to you, Sylvie. Do you want to open it?
Yeah, Sylvie. Actually, I think Sylvie shakes her head. But she's
Vera.
looking at whoever has it.
Yeah, Vera will look over at Lox.
Guillaume's eyes are just like flashing to between everybody in this like awkward silence that follows. Like, well, never could resist a little mystery box full of intriguing gifts. Maybe I will if no one minds. I just want to see if it's like how locked is it?
Oh no,
Yeah,
it's not locked at all.
It's not locked.
Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I'll flip it open then.
Yeah, Locke's just relieved to have anyone step forward to deal with it. He will sort of step aside so that Guillaume can sit at the table and open it.
Yeah, Guillaume, you sit down. You can see that this box has been pretty badly burned, but that it seems to not have burned through. So it looks like the contents of it are like perfectly fine, preserved.
Perfect. Yeah, he'll pull a little handkerchief out and try to like lift the latch and kind of catch the lid with it as well.
Mm-hmm. Some of the iron is, you know, maybe a little melted on one side, but you're able to lift this lid, and you see a considerable amount of silver coin looking back at you. In particular, these coins have been stamped by the Agniasa Mint as a commemorative coin for the wedding of Visconde Marici Agniasa and his bride Lavinia Strozzi. This is literally a coin that they had minted for their wedding.
Guillaume will just let out a heavy sigh. X's rubbing it in your face all the time, even when they don't know it. It's coins. There's quite a few. He'll start just kind of scooching some aside, seeing if there's anything underneath them or if it's just a box full of coins.
No, it looks like a box full of silver. Let's call it 150 gold pieces worth. So 1,500 silver pieces. So like I said, a considerable amount. Sylvie, it may or may not dawn on you, but that's about how much you would probably charge for a high-end dress.
Seems like a decent bit of money. I don't. Doesn't seem like there's anything else in here. It's all these stupid Lavinia coins. I mean, her and the other guy, you know.
Who 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 would pay for something with just those? Who would have that many?
People
I
that
think
made
she
them.
was commissioned to make a dress.
Why do you say that?
That's about what I would charge in real money.
You don't say.
It's about exactly what I would charge, in fact.
How well do tailor apprentices get paid? Because I will be looking for employment when this is all over. I think I'm going to have to.
You see for a second, Sylvie does look at you. She's like, well, you might be very useful. You are very small. You could get into some of the hems and fix some of the fallen stitches. I will think about it. But she looks back. But I think Constanza was looking. It looks like she was. This is what I would charge as a full dressmaker. I think she was doing this on her own.
Jeremy, just to refresh my memory, because it has been so long, that silver feather or the white feather that we found matched the outfit of the person that was killed at the party we were at, or
No. The dwarven woman who was the Justicaro that was assassinated,
right?
she was not wearing any
Okay.
kind of costume like that. But you did spot a person who was wearing a costume that was mainly made of like white swan feathers.
Didn't we find a feather on the dead, like the
Yeah,
body
we
that I
did.
kind
We
of pocketed?
Yes, the Justicaro actually had one clutched in her hand that was covered in blood.
The person that we saw because we saw someone in a swan outfit.
Yes, correct.
I am reaching here. I'm being a player instead of a DM. Did that person, like, could we see any like facial features on them? Were they fully covered?
No. Again, the nature of many masquerades in Gerdessi society are there is a magic to the event itself that prevents identification. It provides anonymity beyond and above what a mask would be able to in the real world.
Okay.
I have a question to go along with that, because I remember at one point the Chimeran had an interaction with somebody that they felt like they knew, but they couldn't figure out exactly who it was. That was not the swan person, was it? Or
I think that it actually was.
It was. Oh.
I could be misremembering, but I believe that it actually was.
And we saw, I'm looking back, we saw Costanza's father being talked to by a Justicaro about like, where is my daughter, kind of a thing, and threatening him.
Yes. Yep. They were looking for her. They were kind of like shaking his house down, like searching for her.
Oh, there were names. Costanza, a paper with 2 names, 2 things in the satchel from, oh yeah. I forgot about the satchel, that it had papers in it too.
How long ago was the masquerade ball? Was that just like last night? So like a day ago, or has it been
No,
a few
y'all have been
days?
hiding out for probably about 3 or 4 days at this point.
Okay, so Costanza was missing like 3 or 4 days ago, at least.
So we have the bloody feather and we have the regular feather.
Correct.
Vera's going to look over at Guillaume and then at the feathers that we've pulled out while we're talking about this. Guillaume, I know this is whatever. You'll get over it. Is there any chance you could rat up and sniff the feathers and see if you recognize anyone's smell on this?
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. I really thought you were going to say something horrible. Yeah, no,
No.
that's no problem.
I just feel weird asking you to rat out on us. Like,
No, you guys, I wish I could explain how good it feels. Like the transformation is pleasurable, not like sexually. I'm not trying to say I'm like getting off on it, but the transformation itself does have a euphoric quality. And being in rat form, there's something about the it's almost as if smells have a color. It's I don't know. I obviously I I've practiced alchemy. I've experimented with different concoctions and substances, but it's akin to some of the more hallucinogenic properties of the certain varieties of alchemical concoctions. It's no, yeah, I'm happy to. Long way of saying. And he will do so.
Okay, yeah. Guillaume
Any
transforms.
shame about rat forming has just melted away over the time that he's had to spend with it, as he realizes, like, yeah, it's technically a curse, but like it's awesome.
Yep. Okay. So Guillaume goes through his transformation, turning into a rat. Something I think most of you have seen at least a handful of times now. That doesn't mean it's any less settling for the rest, unsettling for the rest of you. There is a lot of like bone cracking noises and like disjointed limbs and things before he's finished. But when he is done, there's little rat Guillaume. Guillaume, you move over and you take a good sniff of both of these feathers. I would like for you to make a perception roll, please.
I would like to encourage him along by telling him his fur is looking dashing this evening, and I will give him a bardic inspiration to assist with that.
Okay.
That
Okay,
check.
smell base. I think in rat form, I think I have advantage on that.
Probably. A lot of animals do, so I would imagine they do as well.
Good, because I'm gonna need both of those things. Because I believe, I think it's does it still use my? I can never remember. It's been a while. Does it still use my perception, or is it a rat's perception?
It's based on wisdom, so I think that stays the same. I think.
Okay. Okay. So then I believe my perception is 0, but that's a 19 with the bardic inspiration.
Okay.
Triple check, but yep, not a perceptive guy.
So you take a really long sniff of one of them, and it smells a lot like the smells that you smelled at the masquerade. Food, the perspiration of people who have been dancing for long hours, the smell of alcohol, the smell of what happens after you drink too much alcohol. All of these things are kind of mingled together, but you also smell overpoweringly that iron, metallic smell, that coppery smell that blood has. Then you kind of move over to the other one and kind of sniff it, and you smell the smells of the Rack'em and Stack'em, You smell fried pickles, beer, um, you know, bad life decisions. I don't know. Um, you you can smell both of these things as if they're almost a part of the feather itself. But then there's something else, just like the faintest little hint. And you go back to the first one and smell, and sure enough, it's barely there, but you smell it. And then you move to the second one again and kind of confirm. Sure enough, you are definitely getting a smell that is common between them. And it takes you a second to remember where that smells from, that you have smelled it before. It is familiar to you. What was a scent, a perfume, that Lavinia Strozzi wore whenever you were both attending the academy?
A really strange mix. Actually, I think it's probably one that Guillaume originally crafted for her, and it's sort of a like cloves and lavender, and it's supposed to be stronger on the lavender end because it's such a milder scent, but the cloves add like a weird sharpness to it that Lavinia seemed to enjoy.
Okay. It's, again, it's delicate. It's hard to, maybe it is the cloves initially that kind of like hints you towards it. But once you have pegged what that smell is, it's unmistakable. You definitely can tell that both of them have this scent on them.
He shifts back and is just hanging his head, like cracks his neck after all the popping and the bone rearranging. Oh, it's like I'm going to a massage parlor, but a really mean one. Um, so it was the slight undertone, the tiniest hint of lemon underneath the lavender and the clove. That's what really sold it. Bad news. Uh, Listen, if a guy describes every ex he had as crazy, you know it's his fault. I'm telling you, I have one crazy ex. The rest of them left me for totally legitimate reasons. Everything's cool. I mean, we don't talk, but yeah, it's I think it's Lavinia. It makes sense with the coins.
Vera kind of looks over at Locks. You were right. I mean, I felt you were right, but you were right. We're making them nervous.
We are at that.
They took out the woman that saved you how long ago? Now they're taking out Sylvie's assistant after they have her make the dress.
Not to mention, you said it was a note from Ella.
Ella left the feather in the satchel. She must have been talking to Stanza. She must have been.
Or she's
She must have
taken
figured it out.
too.
The satchel was left there, and she left a note with a. Hold on, Kenya's scrolling back through her notes. Um,
Yeah, it
she
was.
left a note. It said the Tangled Thread, which was the name of her business, and then Costanza Benediso. And the feather.
But we don't know how she got the feather.
We don't.
Could be that she was looking into it herself. Could be that there's some other connection we're not thinking of.
That's what she said when I messaged her, that she had a lead she was chasing.
Well, then it seems like Lavinia is the thread we have to pull, right?
I think we need to add Lavinia to our list of. Oh no, we have Lavinia on our list of people we're going to kill.
I was pretty
Captain
sure that's the first name I would
Lavinia.
throw in.
Yeah. And then it was, the guy that Guillaume dueled, but he's dead, so.
Also, like, sorry to say this, but like, it's not like problematic for me to want to kill my ex, right? Like, you guys all understand why. It's not okay.
I think we've reached a quorum. I think everyone is in agreement that that Lavinia needs to get taken out. Yeah.
Guillaume, this isn't some sort of weird like Gerald Springer type of event where you're like wanting to kill your ex because she left you for her other baby's daddy. And like, no, she's a murdering vampire, Guillaume. Like, we understand.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. It just feels bad saying like, yes, my ex-girlfriend needs to die. Like that, there's an awkwardness to it that you could understand. I know you all are reading it the right way, but I just needed to say it.
Just don't
just
lead
stop
with
calling
that.
her. Yeah, stop calling her your ex. I mean, at this point, that's just a
The
footnote on the
psychotic
page.
vampire bitch.
Sort of
like,
immaterial to the arch vampire taking over the city.
Exactly.
Thing. That's fair. It feels like it's still kind of personal because I'm pretty sure she was the one that framed me for the murder. So like I think there's some she's coming at me because I'm her ex energy there.
Yeah, no, Guillaume, you were totally framed for that murder. We understand.
Why do I feel like you guys have been believing me less and less the more time we've spent together? Don't answer that.
There is a very soft, almost imperceptible rap on the door, and a folded piece of paper like slides underneath the door.
I do think that Sylvie would go and get that piece of paper.
Do you open it?
Yes, the paper. Yes.
Okay. You open it, and it looks like it's in like an official announcement. Looks like something that may have been posted somewhere. There's like a hole where it must have been like nailed or pinned or something to a board or a wall. And it is an announcement of an arrest. It says, by the order of Capitan Racatore of the Justicaros of Alidalgo, that former Justicaro Verpella Rosero has been found guilty of treason and is set for execution.
I think Sylvie reads that out loud, slowing down, like kind of she's reading it out loud as she's processing it, and she kind of trails off at the end and she looks to Vera.
I think Vera has turned away from everyone and is probably just kind of staring out one of the little windows like that are in this place, and she's just like looking out. There's probably not a lot to see there because there's this is a safe house, so it's probably literally just like maybe another brick wall in front of her face, but she's just staring at it. And does it say when?
Does it say when?
It does not.
Yeah, Sylvie shakes her head.
Is there a typical way and time in the city that these things are done?
Yes, you know that now that this announcement has been made, that it will be a number of days before they'll actually choose a time. And it will be, because this announcement was made, it will be made a very public event. So all that information will absolutely become available before it actually happens.
She's staring out the window at nothing. All right. We have 2, maybe 3 days at the most. This isn't our first prison break. Just do it again.
Who else can they target at this point? Is there anyone else we should be concerned about? Guillaume, do you have anyone in your life besides your father that you're worried about?
No, like I said, all of my relationships have ended horribly. I think Lox is the first person that hung out with me more than twice in the last like 8 years. So I think I'm good.
Lox, what about you? They've targeted a few people already of yours.
No one that I was aware of. The only people I have in the city are you losers, I guess.
Vera?
I mean, yes. I have the Castillo. I have every one of my staff on my employee in there. I have the twins who I already know are being fucked with somehow because they're not them. But yet the old lady who is at the bottom of the lake, the last I know of, is walking around.
So you're still vulnerable. You have more people we need to look into. Sylvie, how about you?
No one that I have not seen for many years. And if I could not find them, I doubt that they will be found or want to be found.
What about you? What about Vitor? Did he get out? Did he escape?
He is not a concern anymore. All the people that are close to me do not live close, so it'll be hard to verify if they're okay. I've spent many years purposely not tying myself to them. So I'm hoping that was enough to save them at this point.
We have to get the Contessa too.
Yes, they've already got her. So it seems the only ones that we don't know about really are the ones in your care, Vera. You seem to be the most.
Yes.
I don't want to say vulnerable again, but
No,
you seem
it's
to be the
okay.
one that has the most to lose right now. That hasn't already lost them.
Vera just kind of turns back to the window. We have 2 days, 3 tops.
At least.
They'll probably make the announcement end of day tomorrow, morning of the next.
At least we know where she is right now. So maybe we could spend a day trying to find your twins.
Okay. We really need to get this shit under control because we definitely need to kill Lavinia and the Justicaro. We need to, Captain. We need to weaken the Padre. We need to figure out what his iron masks are. Really figure out what they are.
We need to take the fight to them again.
We do.
We need to know what will hurt them.
I mean, the last time worked fine.
We've learned more, though. We know better going in. We do have access to the yard of the Justicaros in a roundabout way.
How do you mean?
Well, I met the saint a couple nights ago. And we got to talking, and then we got to fucking. And the place that he took me was... It's a house that is known for throwing celebrations that has a balcony that overhangs the training yard of the Justicaros. So it's something we maybe consider to use as an entry point.
Jeremy, what do we know about where prisoners would be kept here in Aladalgo? Is there a prison, or is it the Justicaros like house prisoners in their sort of headquarters?
So the Chateau d'Ivoire, which is where you made the jailbreak from, is kind of where like the worst of the worst, or like the ones that they want to like remove from all public view. But in the actual city itself, the Justicaros have a jailhouse, essentially a place that they would keep prisoners. And yeah, the ones who would be awaiting execution would probably be kept under pretty close guard, typically, as their MO, if you would.
It's gonna be tough trying to spring her from her cell, but they gotta move her at some point. And if we can figure out when they're doing that and where they're taking her, that'll likely be the best time to try and spring her. You, Vera, mentioned we've got the saint. Might be he has a way for us to get some information out of the Justicaros.
Knowing that wonderful man, he probably has his own people in the Justicaros.
We have to assume, right?
He would be a fool to not.
Perhaps we should consider that everyone who we have gotten close to has been kidnapped, captured, killed,
I agree.
named in some way.
On that, Vera, I know you can message people. How far can you do that?
There's no limit. It gets a little bit more difficult if they're not on this plane, but otherwise, it's guaranteed.
Could you send a message to, forgive me, I can't remember his name right now, the new Marquis who aided us, he was the werewolf guy?
Oh, the highwayman.
The
Highwayman, yeah.
highwayman, yeah.
Mhm.
Let him know what's happened here, because I believe that's where we left my son.
It is.
It is indeed.
We were
Yep.
smart enough not to bring him back.
So I kind of like to make sure that he knows what's going on and up
Mm.
his protections. Can you
Of course.
send word? Thank you.
She'll immediately cast the spell, pulling out her pan flute, and instead of blowing through the flute like she normally does, when she casts sending, she kind of just speaks the words over the top of the flute, and they turn into like little notes that kind of like wisp off into the air. And she will send him the 25-word message, and she'll simply say, um hold on, she'll say, "This is Vera. Our loved ones are being hunted by padres of vampires. Please keep the young lad safe and strengthen your defenses quickly." And that's what she will send him.
Okay. There's a few moments, and then the reply comes back to the effect of, "It is understood. Thank you for the warning. Hopefully my friends are going to be enough to defend us." And that's basically the gist of the entire message that he sends back. Take care.
Okay.
Chimera's looking at you with like very nervous and waiting eyes, waiting to find out what the answer was.
He's appreciates the warning. He's concerned about the strength of his crew, I guess, but he appreciates the warning and is telling us to be careful and take care. And he will protect your son.
There's a visible kind of relief when you say that. Thank you, Vera.
I will message Ella in the morning to see how she's doing. Unfortunately, I am tapped out for the day, so she finally kind of moves away from where she was standing and just plops down on the bed that she's been staying in and just sits on it. And so, what do we do now?
I hate to say it, but we need to rest at some point. I doubt sleep will come easy, but it won't do any of us any good if we're exhausted.
All right.
So quick nap, then we march into the Castillo and kill the old lady again. Whatever she is, she's working for the bad guys. I feel like at this point we can just do it, right? We don't need more information.
Well, Guillaume, now that we know and have confirmed that Lavinia has definitely got a hand in these kidnappings, etc., is there any place that she would maybe hide two twins that we don't know about yet? A place that maybe she mentioned to you in passing all those years ago?
I'm just assuming since she's living with what's his face? Um and I like to imagine that even though I can't remember his name, Guillaume does, but is just being a dick. Um but I would assume that she's got whoever like that's where she's hiding anything because I don't think they're hiding at this point. I think they have too much control of the city to need to hide.
What if she's got them at her house that we've been in?
Yes, because I'm also concerned about the Contessa. Do you think they'd have them in the same place?
I
Potentially?
feel like the Padre and the Contessa have a much stronger history that he's not letting. I feel like that is absolutely 100% personal between the two of them.
Mm-hmm. Where would he have her? Because maybe they're taking them all to the same place.
He's definitely not in the mountains where we just burned his vineyards and stuff. Where does the Padre stay, Jeremy?
You know that
I
you
don't know
brought
if
that
we've
up.
ever asked you that in all the 42
You have
episodes.
not.
We've
And
never asked you where the Padre stays.
Not once. And now that
Oh my
you bring it
God.
up, you rack your brain. Not a single one of you can come up with the faintest idea. You've never heard. It's never been explained to you. You don't know that you've ever passed a building and thought to yourself that that must be where he stays. You have no idea.
Well, maybe that is something that we should look at.
Maybe that is the first thing we should find.
Honestly, I've been thinking for a little while now that it might be time that we grab us one of those Justicaros and have a little chat with them. There's some information that we're going to need in the next few days. Information on the route to the execution. If we can find someone high up enough to know, but low enough that they won't necessarily be missed or resist us.
You got to be careful with that. If we spook the Justicaros in any way, they might just kill Ella and be done with it.
Guesses they're too theatrical for that. They like their shows of power and control, but it is possible.
I wonder what would happen if I just walked back into the Justicaro's office again. Into the captain's office and just, I don't know.
I think it might depend who you look like. If you look like you, I have a feeling that wouldn't go well.
We could capture a low-level Justicaro. I could transform myself into them and walk around and see if I can find Ella or find the schedule. Guillaume, you could rat up and see if you could find the schedule. We could also just get me within 1,000 feet of the main buildings and the jails, and I could simply search for her and hopefully find her, unless they've got her behind some sort of warding magic, which is probable.
Even if we search for her, I think the first plan's a good one because it'll get us inside to actually be able to do something about it.
I think that sounds like a good idea to go and pose as a Justicaro. We might be able to find some other information as well.
We wouldn't even need to necessarily kidnap one either. We could just scope out the headquarters and take the shape of someone who's off ship, leaving for the day.
Yeah, I need their clothes though. When I shift, it doesn't shift my clothes, it only shifts my skin.
You can't make clothes.
Oh, if only we knew someone who could make clothes.
Exactly.
If only we had a seamstress. Oh, damn.
This plan is foiled
So
from the beginning.
close. Damn. Well,
Then a couple months. Okay, guys.
the only one we knew just burned up in that building.
Oh, that was too good.
If only I had a Holocaust cloak, that would be something.
Would this work?
Yeah, so yeah, we could watch someone leave and then I could shift into them and Sylvie could have the clothes made and go back because we left something at the office.
Perfect.
And about the Padre's residence, Sylvie, do you think your contacts might have that kind of information?
Potentially. Unless that is also the reason why they're here and want so much information. I can ask them. They will want more information. They have been particularly wanting more information about the saint, unfortunately.
Well, I guess
someone's
we can
location, there will be a price.
Mhm.
If we need to, we can pay with me. And no, not in the way I normally pay. No. What I'm saying is, if you need to, you can tell them about what I can do and offer them my services for a one-time event that they may need.
That is a very powerful gift that you are giving them, Vera.
I know. We're asking for extremely valuable information.
She nods solemnly. I trust that you will not get caught up with them. I will let them know. So I think with that, Sylvie is going to, in the way that she does, find the way to contact. What is his name? Their guy.
Yep, Jarek Reinhardt,
Jarek, yeah.
Spy Master.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you have like a dead drop or something that you leave a missive written in some kind of vague terminology, and yeah, it'll be a little bit of time before he turns up, but that's usually all that it takes. Is there anything that y'all are doing or saying before he arrives?
I think I would offer to Sylvie to help her with the Justacaro outfit. Not saying that I can help you with the sewing or whatever, but I can help you make it look authentic, because I am also very skilled with disguise, etc. So
Perfect. Yeah. Yes, as am I. So that'll be great.
Okay. All right. After a few hours, probably, there is again a knock at the door. This one, a little more pronounced than the last time. And when you open the door, you see a growingly more familiar face. The Vicarian spymaster Jarek Reinhardt, who enters once you open the door, and after you close it, kind of turns to look at the group of you, but mainly to Sylvie. We are seeing more and more of one another lately.
Yes. I'm not sure if either one of our enjoyment of that, but we quickly for M, can you remind me because I know he wants information on the saint. He asked us to get and we told him about the book.
Mm-hmm.
We let him hold it for a moment and then saying that we were going to look into it more. Was there anything else that he had asked of us?
We gave him a list of names. We decide to give them 3 names: kill the captain, kill Lavinia, and kill G's dueling victim, even though they maybe haven't realized that was already done when we told them. But that was one of the things that we bartered with them too. Suggests that we can use the upcoming power vacuum to get leverage from the spies. So we were telling them, and we gave them a heads up as to who we're planning on killing, so they could be prepared to step into the power vacuum. That was the big thing that we gave them.
You would also know, as far as like what they are asking for or expecting on their end, that they have been very intently letting you know that they really, really need you to find the rest of your family.
Yeah. Sylvie conveniently doesn't mention that at all, I think.
Fair enough.
But okay. Great. We have another request.
My, you're racking up quite the tally.
We are, but I like to think, have in kind shared the information that we have, useful to you and yours.
We are working to verify some of it. It is proving to be at least somewhat valuable, yes, but there are some rather big exchanges that we have been trying to ask and seem to keep running up against a wall.
Large asks require time. In the meantime, this is along the lines of that book we were showing you. We need to know where a certain individual is located.
Very well. There's mid-level magics that can accomplish as such. I'm certain that we can arrange that.
It is, sorry, what is the title of him again?
Padre Primero.
I always think Padre Primero.
Yes.
Primavera. I can never.
Austin has ruined it for me. I cannot say anything other than Padre Primavera. Sylvie says the title, and then pauses. That is who we need, Padre.
Oh. Is that all?
She looks like skeptical at him.
Oh, he is being very sarcastic.
Yeah.
As you said, big asks take time. You wish to know where the Padre Primero lives.
We just want to know where he is.
You and all of Aladalgo. This is one of the largest kept secrets in the city. No one seems to know.
I am sure that it is not above the talent of your group, as I remember. It is something of your specialty, no?
Indeed, it is. Flattery only gets you so far, however. I can certainly look into it, but I cannot make any promises. I do, however, have two pieces of information that may be of interest to some of your friends. The Justicaro who's slated for execution. No one seems to know where she is being kept. We know for a fact that she is not in the cells at the Justicaro temple. They are being very secretive of where she is being held, which is unusual. Second piece of information is that we may have a lead on where the phylactery is being kept. But for that, he holds up a finger. I will have to have something concrete. Something indisputable and measurable. Such as, he kind of like makes sure that he's catching your like full gaze, Sylvie. Where the letter is that your father took.
And I have told you, I don't know where that letter is.
Yes.
I will. You know my father, I'm sure, and you know that once he or anything else that he has in his possession, he has deemed it not wanting to be found. It is so.
But as you said, finding things that do not wish to be found seems to be your speciality, does it not?
She smirks at his retort. I suppose you're right. I will have the location for you within 2 days.
He nods. Then I will ferret out, no offense. He looks at Guillaume. The location of
None
this...
taken, I'm actually a rat. Not a ferret.
My failure to
Not even really a
draw a
common
distinction.
misconception.
Forgive me. A poor attempt at humor, perhaps. So, I will bring the location of the phylactery once we have found that out. 2 days, it sounds. Very well. Now that would be an even exchange. As
Yes,
for the
there'll be
Padre's
nods.
location, he kind of like sighs and shakes his head. I will do what I can, but that is a tall order indeed. Is there anything else?
No, I don't believe so. As always, a pleasure.
Of course. Oh, he kind of turns at the door. If, in fact, you do intend on removing the Capitan from his position, we would be most appreciative.
We are. Now that is something that we are both very aligned on.
I love it when a plan comes together. He opens the door and leaves, closing it behind him.
I think Sylvie just like shudders. She's like, I hate dealing with home.
How are you going to find your father's letter in 2 days?
I don't know.
Are you going to reach out to him?
I can't. There is no way for me to reach out. I was not kidding when I said, yeah, my father is like the wind. He was one of the best here. He has not wanted to be found.
Sylvie, what happens if you don't deliver this letter? What sorts of people are these friends of yours?
Well, they are the kinds that slink in the shadows, in the gutters, have eyes everywhere, and the full backing and financial support of an entire nation behind them.
So pushovers.
Exactly, yes. I'm sure they'll be quite forgiving. We need that phylactery. He will not take any more skirting around what he wants. I fear I have overextended the grace that I've been given.
So we have to find this letter.
Let me try to see if I can get a lead. We just need to know where it is. We don't need to go and get it. We don't need to find it. We just need something, somewhere for them to look.
Were you with your father when he stole this letter, or was this after?
This was before, right, Jeremy? This was that whole thing. Yeah, this was.
Yeah, that's why you left.
Yeah. So, Sylvie, I was not there when he stole the letter or took it. I saw it. That is why we had to leave.
Who did
I'm
he
going to
steal it
ask-
from?
Some nobleman, I think. It was so long ago, I don't remember.
Here in El Hidalgo?
No, in Vicaril.
I'm going to ask you a very. You read about this kind of stuff in books and plays, and is there any chance that you had a favorite stuffed animal that you still hang on to, or memorabilia from your childhood, and your father planted the letter on you and then sent it with you when he sent you away?
I doubt it. We came with nothing. I had no possessions.
Nothing at all, not even a trinket?
I think you see Sylvie stop at that. And I think Chimeran, you know Sylvie enough. It's like the briefest of pauses. And then she said, like I said, I will try and get a thread of something. I don't want to burden you with this. We'll get it. We'll get the location and we'll get the phylactery. She turns to Vera. You need to focus on getting her out.
Oh, I am.
And where
But
she is.
oh no, I know. I just I will try to message her in the morning on the off chance that they aren't as smart as they should be. Maybe I will get some idea of where she's being kept. The sooner we can get the letter and the sooner we know about the phylactery, though, I wouldn't be surprised if they have her wherever they had the Contessa. Jeremy, the cells that he was talking about at the temple, are those basically the same ones that you would consider the jail you were talking about before, like the
Yes.
Justacaro jail? Okay.
Yeah, so the Justicaros have like a headquarters, but it is
Right.
like part of the same compound as the Temple
Right.
of Evendel, who's the goddess of justice. They are technically a priesthood. They are
Yes.
like followers of the goddess of justice. They just also happen to recently have positioned themselves into the place of like a city guard. They displaced the King's Guard, a group known as La Estudia, who you sprung several members of out of the prison. But yes, the jail, it would be a part of that same compound.
Okay.
But Jarek just mentioned that they likely wouldn't keep her there, right?
He says that
they've
as far
confirmed
as
that she's not.
correct.
Okay.
The reason it
Got
came to their attention at all was because that is not what has happened with her, and he's not sure exactly where they have taken her.
Got it. I understand.
This might be a wild hunch, but I feel like we should check out the Ignalasa estate. I think Lavinia and the Iron Masks must have targeted the father for some reason. Maybe they already knew the son was amenable to their cause or persuadable, but maybe there's something about that family in particular. I mean, I guess it is the coin, but they're a rich family. They have likely a large estate, probably a dungeon. I wouldn't put it past Lavinia to want to keep her enemies close.
And with the one who was opposed to what they were doing dead, if they needed some place to store someone quietly, a large estate like that would make sense. Okay.
It's also possible, with Ella being a Justicaro herself, that there may be some inside the organization who are not yet fully turned to their cause, and it may not be entirely wise for them to house her among her former co-workers.
Well, I know she has mentioned to me that wasn't just her. I believe, Lox, you got that same kind of idea from your old friend before she was murdered. There are some that don't really toe the line, I guess. So does this mean that Sylvie doesn't have to sew an outfit and I don't get to play dress up to be a Justicaro? Or should we at least sew the outfit so we have it available if we need it?
Well, let's
We
not be
still
too
want to know.
hasty. We want the
Yeah.
outfit, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We also still need to know where and when the execution's going to be.
That's true. That's true.
It's
Yeah, because
incredibly
just
risky and-
because she's not being kept at the temple doesn't mean that they don't necessarily have some information that would be useful to us.
Mhm. Um,
We could also just go and interrogate the commander and kill him while we're at it.
That's kind of
Yeah,
where my
I
head
mean-
was. Yeah.
The 2 birds, 1 stone.
yeah.
I mean,
that's
then you
true.
still get to wear the outfit. You get to do the transformation. You also get to act like a dick, which is kind of fun. You get to boss people around, not answer questions. Do I want to be a cop? No, never mind.
Do you think you could possibly make me the commander's outfit? The captain?
And if we do this
Captain.
right, you'll be able to take his outfit right off his body.
That's true, but to get in. Because no one's going to fuck with the captain as he's walking around, and he can go pretty much wherever he wants, I'm assuming. So if we wait and watch him leave, and then go back in.
Jeremy,
Hmm.
how confident does Sylvie feel that she could recreate the captain's? Like, how
So-
often has she seen him?
You have my
it's not
aid as
like
well.
It's not like he has one outfit only that he wears. So, you might be able to draw something up that would be believable as being an outfit of his. But you know that
Imagine there's,
recreating like specific vestments is never an exact science.
I have a question. I personed myself as him after seeing him the last time at the Diploma estate. Would I have a good enough memory to recreate that disguise self version to allow Sylvie to
To work off of.
investigate. Yeah, to work off of.
Yeah, I would say that that would be a very good combination. Yeah.
Especially
Cool
with
idea.
both Sylvia and I also being masters of disguise, we would be able to help you like pinpoint it exactly, like if we remember different things
I
about
feel
it.
like
And
it's gonna be a game of telephone where it's like Guillaume is giving you like the version he remembers and you're recreating it, so it's gonna be this weird sort of
except but we have the three people going, but I think I had a little bit like this,
right.
and you have a little bit of this, and this is what I remember. It's not quite like that. Yeah.
It's
And I
not
think
quite
Locke
right, but
saw
it
it
is a
as well
snappy outfit.
that night. Yeah.
All right.
I think. Yep.
Okay, so Sylvie, let's get some kind of a roll. You can have advantage with the abundance of help that you are getting. Let's make a dress, or
Cool.
vestments.
Okay, so I get things being
Mhm,
Out of inspiration, you can do it.
mhm.
um so my proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check I make with my tools. So I get
Perfect.
double my proficiency.
Yeah, which should be
Um,
decently hefty at y'all's level.
Yeah.
3, maybe 4 even.
Yeah, 4.
4.
So that's plus
Hell yeah.
8.
Plus the bardic inspiration from Vera. Plus you have advantage from the help that you're getting from both Guillaume
boy.
and Chimeran. So, yeah.
All right.
And then this would be a
Plus the skill, whatever. Yeah.
yeah. So it's using tools, so it's not a skill, but it is dexterity
That's right. I meant
based. I would
the
imagine.
stat. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll just call it a dexterity roll. With all of that icing on the cake.
Fantastic. That didn't do what I wanted it to. Sorry, so I rolled an 18
Okay.
and a 2. On the bardic dice, so that's a 28.
Okay. Yeah, there's a montage scene of all of the things that y'all have said where it's like, no, this needs to be a little longer, or no, that's the wrong shade of red, or whatever. While Sylvie is, busy with shears and, measuring tapes and pins. And then there's a moment where we just see like all of you kind of standing back with your arms kind of crossed, your heads tilted, looking at this outfit. And we cut, to a shot of the outfit, and it's immaculate. There's even like signs of a little bit of wear. Like it looks like a lived-in clerical vestments of a very high-ranking individual in the Justicaros. It has the little flares that you've seen Rocatore use, which are up to and including, maybe much to Lox's chagrin, peacock feathers. Okay. And as we see this incredibly crafted disguise, I think this where we're going to take our 10-minute break. So we're going to take a bio break, refill your drinks, smoke them if you got them, kiss your spouse, etc., etc. And we will be right back with the second part of session number 42 of Evermore le Masquerade. Hello, everyone. Welcome back from the break. This is Evermore le Masquerade, our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign. This is session 42, A Masterless House. If you're starting here, why? Don't do that. It's not going to make any sense. But if you insist, then sure, why not? This is a safe place. We don't kink shame here. So, speaking of kink shaming, we're going to hop back into the torturous enjoyment that we all come here for. We have just found out a series of pieces of information, one of which is that apparently the former Justicaro, Ella, also known as Vera's girlfriend, is apparently slated for execution. and that she is not being kept where the Justicaros would normally keep people who were awaiting execution. So that's interesting. And it seems like the list of people and places that our heroes want to burn to the ground is growing. And even some of their friends seem like maybe, well, patience wearing thin might not quite be the right phrase, but it seems like they're very quickly wearing out their welcome here in Aladalgo. So, now that you have crafted this incredible outfit that passes for a clerical vestments and fashion piece that would belong perhaps in the armoire of one Capitan Rocatore. Now what?
Probably get some sleep.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea. Okay. Is there anything that anybody wants to say or do over the course of taking a long rest? Over the passing of the evening?
Yes.
Yeah. But you go ahead first.
No.
I love that. I love that. Fantastic.
There's a sigh, a resigned yes.
I think it's, well, if I'm going first, Chimeran maybe goes to, bed at the same time as everybody else, but doesn't last very long. Once everybody's kind of sleeping, he's back up again, sitting in his, the linen tunic, whatever you want, have it, kind of looking out that window that doesn't look at anything. Just kind of staring off into the non-existent distance, and fiddling with a particular locket, but otherwise being quiet and calm and just in his own thoughts.
There's Locks is laying on the floor. I imagine in the safe house there's maybe a few beds, but we sort of take turns getting to sleep on a mattress. And Locks is sort of laying on a cot or sort of a blanket on the floor. And you haven't noticed that he's awake, Chimeran, but he just says quietly, "Can't sleep."
And I think there's kind of like a gasp and then a cough and then um yeah, too much on my mind. You?
Yeah, something similar. I wager. And his eyes kind of flick over to the outfit, um, and he sort of takes a deep inhale. I don't know if I'm ready, Chimeran.
For a second, I think Chimeran's incredibly confused about what you're saying because when you said, me too, I think he didn't realize that we were totally not on the same page at this point. But then he notices what you're looking at and he's like, "Oh, yeah, me too." Seems like things are just kind of getting away from us.
Yeah, that's a smart way to put it. It's why I came back here, to Aladalgo in the first place. But and now that it's time, now that I have to do it,
You're talking about killing the
Yeah.
Capitan?
Yeah. Well, he sort of sits up and he's maybe like sort of leaning forward on his knees. I'm the last one. There's no one else. What if I fail? What if I die and that's it? And none of the sacrifices, none of the work, none of the killing and the dying, none of it amounts to anything.
That would be a real shame, actually. I think we can't let that happen.
No, I don't imagine we can. There's one thing. I sort of always assumed I'd be doing this alone, that I'd have to do it on my own. But that's not the case anymore.
Nah. You've got us.
Yeah. You know, you got us too, Chimeran.
And I think that kind of hits Chimeran a little bit, and he kind of swallows and looks away. That might not be the best thing for you, actually. And then he turns back, and it's like his whole visage has changed, and he's back to the. I guess at this point, like even though he's not wearing a mask anymore, his face actually looks like a mask again, and he says, "But you got us, and we're not going to let you down."
No, I know you're not. Ain't got no fear of that. And he lays back on the floor. Try to get some sleep if you can, Chimeran. We got a big day ahead of us.
Yeah, we do. And I think for appearances, he gets up and returns to where he was uh, and lies down to go to sleep. But we can see as the camera that he's not sleeping. He's just staring out into the darkness.
Yeah, I imagine that it's like we're laying in such a way that we cannot see each other, but it's
Yeah.
like both of our eyes just like wide open, staring at the ceiling.
Is there anything
I
else?
think at that moment, like you see some time has passed, but then you see another set of eyes open on sleeping, which is Sylvie. I think Sylvie at this like would slowly and quietly get up, um, and she would leave the safe house. How far away is like Sylvie's shop from this safe house?
Probably a decent bit. I would say at least a gondola ride.
Are there gondolas at this hour?
Well, there's gondolas at
every
every
hour.
hour. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. This time of night, you do notice there's a lot more activity than there normally is in the dead of night in Aladalgo.
Ooh.
and a lot of it is like, if you didn't know better, you might mistake it for like hangers on for the revelry of Mardival, like people who just hadn't quite gotten the note that it was done yet. People necking in dark alleyways and, things of that nature. But you also are looking at this with a different set of eyes. So you realize that there's the game that is being played is even more hunter and hunted than it normally is. A little more literally so.
I think Sylvie wants to make a quick trip, but as quick as possible. So she puts up her hood and is going to try and flag down a gondola and head there as discreetly as possible.
Mm-hmm. It's there might be a couple of times where you feel maybe you might be being stalked for a moment or two, but
I also want to add that Chimera doesn't move when Sylvie gets up, but when she leaves, he follows her. But he does not let her know, at least he's trying not to let her know, that he's following her.
Yeah, so I would say for certain you get a sensation from time to time that maybe you are being stalked, but it doesn't seem to last for long, and you quickly, discreetly make your way to your condemned dress shop.
Yes. So Sylvie is going to go around to the back. I imagine, I don't know what, I feel like there's maybe at one point there was a few shops, there's the square and then there's a few shops, and this is very European, but there was maybe a little internal terrace that a bunch of the other shops shared.
Sure. Yeah. Got a little table that people can sit at for
the employees and or
right.
for patrons and things like that. And so she's gonna go there, and way in the corner in the back she goes and she starts digging, and eventually this box appears, this old ratty box, and she opens it up, and there's a few things in there, a few keepsakes, I think, throughout the years. Maybe there's even her first coin that she got as a dressmaker in Hidalgo. There's some thread, and I imagine it's this pure gold thread, thread literally just made out of this very fine gold. And at the very bottom, and amidst all of these random pieces of memorabilia, she finds a small pendant of this white stone. All it's wrapped in this very dark cord almost. It's not very fancy or even good, good quality, but she looks at the stone, which is of itself is beautiful and perfect, and she thinks back, and there's a moment where we see again that night when Sylvie was told by Lothar to leave the house, and when she was woken up and told to leave and to not come back. The last time she saw her brother and her family, what we didn't see is Sylvie before being ushered out, stealing this necklace that her brother always wore when he was younger. He always wore it around his neck, and she became enamored with it, and she became convinced that it was some kind of whatever the equivalent of like a sending stone would be. I think maybe even Lothar would, when they were growing up, when they were children still, would like appease her with this, or say that it was. She never knew if he was telling the truth or not. So this was something that she took, but she remembers that night again vividly, and the very last words that Lothar had said to her, "You must promise never to look for us. You must promise never to seek out where we are. For your safety, you can't find us." And she clutches onto this stone, and I think with like all her might and all her she is magical, so like whatever magic that she has, she like puts into the stone, and just she says, and she mutters, "I'm sorry," and just tries to reach out to Lothar, to her brother, on this pendant that she doesn't even know if it's magical or not.
Okay. So, do you roll high or low for success on a percentile die? What is your preference?
Let's do high.
High. Okay. Then please roll a percentile die for me.
Okay. Okay, that's an 83.
Okay.
So
you clutch this stone, and you kind of reach out with this intention, this hope, and the crystal in your hand grows warm to the touch. Warmer than just the night air is here in Aladalgo. Not quite enough to burn, but warm enough that you notice the increase in temperature. And just about the time that you look down, the moonlight reflects in the facets of this stone and reflect onto the wall nearby that you're kind of like kneeling at in this little like courtyard. And when you turn the stone away, the reflected light on the wall stays behind. And at first it looks a little abstract or random, but the longer you look at it, the more and more it reminds you of a symbol that you've seen before. And that is the symbol of the goddess Vigela, who is the god of chance and luck. And like the mark is there. It seems permanent.
yeah, I think immediately you see. I don't think. I think Sylvie can scarcely, because she had almost convinced herself that this was just like a childhood thing, that this was something, anything. So to see that, she kind of rubs at her eyes, and she like scrabbles for it, I think, from where she's been crouching, and goes up and traces her finger along this sigil.
Yep. You reach out, touch it, and you feel the plaster the wall is covered in. It doesn't feel any different except for maybe like the barest hint of like a fading warmth. But it's almost like somebody took like a scorch, like a fire and like a flame and scorched the wall, but just in this pattern. And it's maybe 7 inches tall. It's not big, and most people probably wouldn't even notice it. But the fact that it was exactly the pattern of the reflected light off of this stone is not lost on you.
So this happened when she kind of held it up.
Yeah, like as you were holding it in your hand, making this hope known, as you were kind of looking down at it, the moonlight reflected off of the facets of the stone and reflected up onto the wall. And then when you pulled the stone away, or changed its position, or the moon went behind a cloud, or what have you, that pattern of reflected light that it had thrown onto the wall stayed behind. And that's what formed this symbol.
I think Sylvie's going to try and hold up the pendant again to see if she can try and let the sigil like recreate it, or let it be there longer. Like she's just trying to, or look inside the pendant.
Yep. You try to get it to recreate this effect, and nothing's happening. Like it doesn't seem to catch the light the same, or if it does, it doesn't reflect it the same, or if it does reflect it similarly onto the wall, it doesn't stay the way that it did before. But that stone is warm to the touch. It has retained that heat.
Yeah, I do think Sylvie lets out a sigh. She knows that this is maybe even beyond her, this level of magic. So she keeps the stone and she stands with intention to go home, to show the others tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. The return home is much the same as your journey here. Maybe your thoughts are a little more distracted. Maybe you're not quite as alert. But you make it back to the safe house without any issues.
I want to say within the last couple of blocks of us getting back, when I feel like Sylvie's going to be safe for the last part of the trek, Chimeran would kind of circle around or whatever and go a different way, cutting through corners, and to try to arrive there ahead of time and lie down before she gets back.
All right. Make me a hide roll. No, not hide. Sneak.
Stealth?
Letting stealth even. Can you tell it's been a while since I've played?
Pick an
D&D
edition.
5th
Pick an edition.
Never.
26.
I don't want one edition. I want all editions.
I went to the ball.
Ruby Rod reference for you in the wild.
Ruby Rod.
One of the best cosplays I've ever seen. Hands down. What did you say, Karen? I'm sorry.
26.
20. Oh, just a 26. No
Yeah,
biggie.
yes.
Okay. Yeah. You are the knight. Yeah. You move with practiced ease between the buildings. You've probably learned most of the layout of the neighborhood around this safe house by now. And you're able to take several shortcuts and arrive well before Sylvie does. And, kick off your boots and your cloak, enough to slide into bed just about the time that you hear the door kind of like pop and like creak open.
And I use all of my deception skills to pretend that I'm sleeping.
Chimera just loudly.
I think Vera kind of rolls over in bed and she kind of like talks herself into Guillaume, who she's kind of ended up like taking this like she always feels she always has to be sleeping in bed with someone. But her and Guillaume seem to be like she kind of like tucks into him and she just kind of whispers in his ear, They're all terrible at sleeping.
All you hear from Guillaume is just like when everyone was describing laying back to back, like eyes wide awake, there was an audible snore going on.
Yep, I love it.
All right. Sounds like all of you maybe have squeezed every last drop out of this day that you can. And finally, exhaustion takes you. And you sleep. You wake in the morning to the sound of a city that is reluctant to get up with the rising sun. But there is noise about the city and outside of your window without a view as the city comes to life. The day is upon you. What are you going to do with it?
The very first thing Vera does when she gets up is she kind of maybe goes into like one of the little side rooms or something where it's kind of private, and she is going to attempt to send Ella a sending spell. And she's going to say, Ella, darling, I don't know if you can respond. If you can hear me, we're coming for you. Don't worry. You'll be safe. And she's just going to kind of sit there and wait. And just wait for a response. Or even to know, like, if she can feel that it was connected and then maybe there was no response, or maybe she gets a cough back, or does it bounce back? Like, just whatever happens.
I'm sorry. The number you're trying
Yeah. The person you're trying to message
no,
is currently unavailable.
There is a long moment that passes, and then you finally get a reply. But when you do, the reply is... it sounds like trying to talk to somebody who is extremely inebriated. Like, the words are kind of jumbled together and half-formed. It's difficult. There's not like a ton of contextual clues. I need you to roll me an insight check, please.
Oh shit. Nat 20 plus an 11 for a 31.
Good God, y'all are on fire tonight. Okay.
Holy shit.
Don't worry, Jeremy. I'm gonna botch my first roll. I know it.
Maybe we'll see. Okay, a 31. All right. So that is a... God, that is a what?
That's an exceptional
20...
success, it's considered.
Yeah, no. 20 is
Yeah.
5, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. Okay, so you managed to decipher 10 words.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is, yeah, phenomenal. So you get the word Capitan. Last to see, drugged, familiar smells and sounds, help. There were other words jumbled up amongst those, and they weren't exactly in that order, but those were basically the words you were able to pick out from the response that you got.
Okay. She will kind of come out of the room quickly, whether anyone's still up or not, and or is getting up or not, and she'll I heard from her. Holy shit, I actually heard from her. She's drugged. I couldn't understand everything, but she said Capitan last to see drugged and familiar smells and sounds help.
Familiar sounds and smells, so she knows where she is, or she's
Why
been
would
there
that be
before.
why would that be important though? Like,
Maybe
I
you
mean, I
know
know
where that is as well.
Yeah, if she's telling you, Vera, it has to be someplace that you know too. So places you've
you
been together.
you don't think they're keeping her at the Castillo, do you?
I wouldn't put it past them. Right under your nose.
I'd say that's a hunch worth checking out for sure.
I think they're just that arrogant.
And because they know I'm avoiding it at all costs.
Yeah.
That last to see part, does that mean the Capitan was the last one to see her, or she's on like at the last house on the way to the sea, or she's in the last cell to see?
Oh, I think you're overthinking this.
That's I'm a wizard. That's what I do.
Well, we were gonna go to the Castillo anyways. So who's up for breakfast and whoring?
Well, I'm up for whoring.
I thought you'd never ask.
I could eat, and breakfast sounds good too. Hey,
Whoring before breakfast, never the other way around.
uh Vera's mood has obviously perked up and she kind of makes eye contact with Locks for a second. She just says, the merriment, right? We've got to keep the hope. And she winks at him. Right? Well, come on, get out of bed. Let's go. We've got whoring to do.
All right. Is there anything that anybody wants to say, do, or accomplish before you go a whoring?
I mean, while we're there, we could take a quick look at my shop. I think I might have a lead on where that letter might be.
Really,
Absolutely.
you thought of something.
Sylvie nods. From what Vera had said, a, a teddy bear of sorts.
That's great news.
Not so great. I have no idea what it means. But hopefully, maybe one of you can figure it out where I cannot. She's going to hold out the pendant. She kind of tucked it away. She had brought it with her. She wants to hold it to Guillaume. I'm not going to tell you what this is. I want you to tell me. I want you to look at it and do your magic looking at it. And tell me what you think it is.
oh, very well. Yes. Take it. Start examining it. Well, it's a beautiful piece. does seem to be magical in some way. It's a strange magic. What can I tell about this thing, Jeremy?
Roll me a religion check.
Religion.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Or
Ooh,
you can roll
well, that's a
Arcana with
nat 20.
disadvantage. Either one.
That's a nat 20, so I'll take
Oh,
that
well, there you go.
with
Okay.
my religion, which
God damn,
is
y'all.
intelligence based, so 25 overall.
Wow. So Sylvie hands this to you, Guillaume, and like the words almost fall out of your mouth. Like this is a holy symbol for Vigela, the goddess of luck and chance.
Clearly a holy symbol of some sort. I think a cleric could get use of this, make use of it. It's definitely a conduit. You can use it for magical purposes. Does your family have some connection to this goddess?
Don't think so. I held it. It was my brother's. I held it, and it etched the marking of, I believe, the goddess, onto the side of my shop.
Oh, strange. Just on its own, you were able to activate it, but all it did was etch. Huh. I mean, my first instinct would be let's find a temple. There's got to be one in the city for this goddess, luck and chance. Maybe a casino could also be a place to look. I think she's the patron god of gamblers.
Why would my brother have it?
Was he much of a card player?
I mean, only when necessary. Only when there was some kind of deal. My family wasn't much on chance, usually. Everything was meticulous, well thought out.
That might be a good place for
Spies.
them to hide then.
I think that would be a clue in of itself, potentially.
Sylvie nods. Well, looks like we're going whoring and gambling today.
Huzzah!
I mean, if we do the gambling first, you can spend the money on the horse. So
No, I'd like to have money left over for the horse. Magella has not blessed me, I'll put it that way.
All right. So it sounds like you head out across the city, fetching a gondola, and head for Sylvie's shop first, or was that still the plan? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we might as well swing by Sylvie's shop first, see it in real life. And
Okay. You make your way to the small little courtyard where Sylvie was just the night before. And you can see what Sylvie's talking about, but I mean, like, you have to kind of, like, turn your head at the right angle, and then again, it almost just kind of looks like, I don't know, maybe the kind of thing where somebody says, "Oh, look at the rabbit in the clouds, don't you see it?" Almost kind of like that. So I don't know how convinced each of you is. I'll leave it up to you. But there is some room for potential doubt.
I think Chimeran would have doubted had he just seen that, but having eavesdropped the night before, he's a little bit more willing to believe what she saw because he saw it too.
I think Guillaume just trusts Sylvie enough and he'll start saying like, yes, usually dawn can bring some sort of dimming of lasting magical effects when they are imprinted upon the world. Something about the rising of sunlight being like a washing, a cleansing wash. It's all very confusing, but I can sort of make it out. It does seem like the symbol of the goddess.
I do think that maybe going to a temple at some point then is our best guess, best bet.
Guillaume,
All right,
do you
now the
think-
whoring.
But Guillaume, do you think this is like, if we throw coins at it, will it become a portal of some sort or something? Like,
That would be
is there
neat.
anything like magical here behind these symbols?
I'm not seeing anything that indicates that. If it was, it might have been possible last night when the rune was fresh. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's not in my experience. This, I will say, this sort of divine magic. I took one or two classes, but I was really not paying attention. That was during that time that I was experimenting with all those alchemical concoctions I was talking about earlier, and the divine magic stuff kind of went over my head. It required a level of feeling that I could not. I'm more intellectual about how I do this.
All right.
There's absolutely somebody from one of the other shops that has like stepped out onto the back like stoop and just seen like the group of you just kind of standing around the corner of this little courtyard talking about something on the wall, and they kind of have this puzzled expression on their face. Good morning, Sylvie.
Good morning.
Have you come to collect a few things from your shop, I suppose?
Yes, seeing as though it probably won't be uncondemned anytime soon, I've just collecting a few things.
Such a shame. For what it's worth, I do not believe what they are saying. I have not seen a single rat around here.
I appreciate that. You have always been so kind to me.
You're missed. She kind of looks at all of the rest of you. Good morning. She just kind of like turns and goes back inside.
Yeah.
Sylvie,
She-
is she going to be a problem?
No.
Does Guillaume need to kill her?
No.
Whoa, no, hey. I was just
No
thinking we would
more
maybe bribe her.
no more killing of those who don't deserve to die. Please.
Vera's unrolling the
Correct,
body
I have
bag.
not.
I think at that moment, I think maybe Chimeran was like turning, having watched the lady go back in, and then it was turning back to the conversation. When he hears Sylvie do that, he just kind of uncharacteristically stumbles um, before catching himself and trying to pretend that he didn't just do that.
Shall we go inside and grab some of your things to keep up the guys then?
Yeah, Sylvie nods.
Okay.
I think
Mhm.
I think Guillaume will hold back just for a second and kind of put a hand on Chimeran's arm. Are you doing all right? Just very quietly once everyone's sort of moving into the building.
And again, there's the hesitation, and then there's the look, as Chimeran gives you that placid face. Everything's fine. We'll just help Vera get the stuff she needs and get out of here.
Guillaume will give kind of a narrowed eye. Say, yes, I'm the Prince of Gerdessi. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were both just making up bullshit. What's going on with you?
I'm a little hungover. I didn't sleep well last night. Nothing is wrong. I'll pull myself together. I think a bit of whoring is what is all I need, and everything will be fine. So let's hurry with that, shall we?
All right, I'm not trying to criticize, and because you're my friend, I'm going to choose to trust you when you say you're all right and that you would say something if you weren't.
Of course I would. You know that.
Right. And he just kind of shakes his head and heads into the building.
Inside, Sylvie, you can see that this place has been ransacked. Like everything is dumped off of the shelves and across the floor. Every container has been opened or forced open or broken open. Its contents kind of spread out all over the place. Several of the dresses that you had on the shelves have been torn, ripped. Like somebody went above and beyond merely searching this place. It's been trashed.
Yeah, Sylvie is
Sylvie.
visibly upset. And look at what the mess they made. They could have just simply closed it off, locked it off. Why all of this? She goes on muttering as she's like cleaning up some of the pieces.
Vera will
Shouldn't
help
stay here
her
long.
gather stuff up, and this is where you're vulnerable.
This was done to send a message, which means that they know we'll see it.
Yeah, Sylvie nods, and I think it doesn't take her very long to gather just a few bits and pieces that she needs to.
You're kind of moving around with resolve, trying to overlook the mess that has been made here, gathering the things that you think might be worth taking. You're kind of in the front of the shop near the front windows and the front door, which is what faces the courtyard that has the fountain in it. And for a moment, you catch like this one of those like beams of light that's coming through like a narrow opening, so it's like extremely strong like beam of light, coming in at a sideways angle because of the morning sun, catching all of the dust and stuff that's in the air that's been kind of like kicked up through all of this tumult. And where this beam is kind of like casting its light across the floor, you see that symbol again. The light being cast on the floor seems to be making the same pattern. And just about the time that you kind of think that and realize, God, that's more than just like sheer coincidence, you hear a sound out in the front of the shop, like outside. Sylvie, your brother had a very distinct laugh. Would you please describe it to us?
I imagine that Lothar had a very deep voice, and oftentimes it was very, even when he was like a young teenager, it would often be mistaken for like a man's voice. But it always had this raspy tone to it. When Lothar was younger, a lot younger, before we had fled from Vikarul, He had been sick, fever, cough, and he never quite recovered his voice from it. So whenever he really truly laughed, that deep guttural laugh, there was always the bit of raspiness to it.
And just about the time that you're looking at this symbol on the floor, outside, as if someone is passing the front of your shop, you hear that. Unmistakably the laugh of Lothar.
Immediately, Sylvie drops what she's doing and rushes outside.
Chimaeran immediately follows her.
Yeah,
while yelling her brother's name. Yeah.
Okay. The rest of you are kind of like standing by, waiting for Sylvie to kind of like gather a few things, which it seems like she's doing, and then all of a sudden, she bolts through the front door, yelling this name, Lothar, and Chimaeran goes after her. All right. Sylvie, you run outside, and you see a group of 4, 5 youngish people who seem like they are incredibly well dressed, especially for this time of the morning. And then you realize, just by the condition of their hair and their makeup and their attire, that they are probably still out from the night before. They are making their way home. They seem like they have had a great time. And they're joking and, poking and prodding one another, and, the kind of having the kind of fun that a night out can bring. But one of them, where this source of laughter comes from, catches you because undoubtedly he sports the look of a Vicarian. He has blonde hair, he has blue eyes, he has a mustache. He is dressed in the clothing and the style of a Gerdessi, but he was very obviously Vicarian, and he would be the right age for Lothar. And as you come out of the shop, screaming this name at the top of your lungs, he stops and turns and looks around back at you with a raised eyebrow. And the rest of his friends continue on. And then when they realize that he has stopped, you can basically hear them telling him to ignore you, that you're just some crazy woman who is infatuated with him, which they don't seem surprised by. But he seems to kind of be almost like he saw a ghost. But he is standing there kind of with this confused expression on his face, staring back at you. Excuse me, what was the name you said?
You can see almost like Sylvie snaps Sylvie out of like this craze that she was in, almost as she like stops in her tracks and looks at him and immediately looks around, remembering where she is and what is happening. And I'm so sorry. You just looked so familiar, like someone who I've known, someone from long ago. His name was Lothar.
No, I'm afraid that's not possible. No, I've never heard this name Lothar before.
I would like to do an insight check while watching this conversation happen. I want to know if he's lying.
Please roll an insight check then.
I don't think Sylvie would, just because she's so like catching herself with this. I don't think she would.
26.
Chimeran, from the short distance away that you are watching this unfold, it is clear to you that the moment that this man spotted Sylvie calling his name, he has been on edge. And now he is bald-faced lying.
I will not say anything at this point. I'm going to keep mum. I don't want him to even look in my direction, right? I don't want to interrupt what's going on here, but I am watching and I am going to clock everything.
Right, right. Yes, I'm so sorry. You just, are you from Vicaril? You have the look about you.
My family is from Vicaril, yes, but no, I have lived in Gerdes all my life. And he almost like shifts his gaze a little bit in the direction of his friends.
She nods quickly. You know, there is a Vicarilian bar. I think she forgets the name of it. But it's where we met the contact initially.
That's right. I don't remember what it is either. But yeah, you mentioned this, and he kind of like cocks a smile and looks back at his friends, and he says, "She's trying to tell us about the tavern that we should check out." And they all kind of laugh. He turns around. That's where we are coming from.
Oh, well,
You
must
go there often yourself?
She nods. There are friends there that I have. Perhaps we will run into each other.
Perhaps. He kind of looks back at his friends again. But do not count on it. I have a lot of friends waiting for me at a lot of bars. And he kind of like backs up towards his friends, very much trying to play off this interaction.
She nods, feigning like disappointment at this. And she turns around and obviously looks to Chimeran and just like this look of like, wow, I'm really stupid. Like I blew this so badly.
I think so Chimeran, when she turns to look at him, Chimeran is looking at the lying blonde guy, and we'll say like we'll kind of whisper to Sylvie, but loud enough for I'm going to call him Lothar to hear. And in Vicarilian, basically something endearing to Sylvie, but then also say the name of that place and a time. But looking directly at the man. Well, Chimeran whispering this to Sylvie.
You can see him definitely cast a look back in y'all's direction. And whatever like merriment or mirth that he's playing at with his comrades is definitely gone from his face. Like he has like a concerned, like troubled expression on his face whenever he looks back in your direction.
Yeah, and I think I would, while I'm also saying like kind of loving things to Sylvia, I would also be saying something along the lines that he would interpret that I am trying to comfort her, saying she's going to be okay, she's going to be safe, because I want him to understand that there's a reason that she thought he was who she thought he was. And I'm trying to I guess or trying to say I want to make him feel that it is imperative that he comes to see her at this place because she's in danger.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Other than the one troubled glance back in your direction, he turns back and is once again, giving that laugh as they kind of like turn the corner, and they fade from sight and sound.
And I also want to mention, Sylvie, that this is probably the first time you have ever heard Chimeran use Vicarillain to you. And you probably know that you've said a few words in Vicarillain when he's been in your presence. So he's giving you a huge piece of information when he's doing this to you, saying this to you.
I think Sylvie right now is just, oh, gosh, I am so stupid. That was very dangerous. I've probably, I don't know, it might have been Lothar, it might not have been, but if it wasn't, or even if it was, it's probably scared him back into hiding.
I guess we'll find out.
Sylvie nods. Thank you for being here.
That man, just so you know, is definitely not who he was pretending to be.
Sylvie nods slowly. You see like almost like hope in her eyes when you say that. Like this kind of like a reassurance almost.
And I think Chimeran sees that hope in your eyes. Hold on to that.
Sylvie nods. Let's get out of here. I think we've already made enough of a attention.
Yeah, and I think to keep the act going, he would definitely like put his arms around you and guide you back into the shop, that kind of thing.
What
What happened out there?
Yeah.
I might have seen my brother. It might not have been, but whoever that man was, maybe he knows something. We invited him to that tavern tonight.
Okay. So, whoring, possible murder, possible jailbreak, and family reunion tonight? Got it. Got it.
The activities just keep piling up, don't they?
We're very busy people. We really are.
This is just a common day in Gerdes.
But this, of course, that it wasn't just projecting the sigil. It must have been a blessing of the god. It's a god of luck and chance. What are the odds that the person you're looking for, who you haven't seen in this city for however long you've been here, happens by right when you're here?
Sylvie does stop and she nods. She's like, that is strange.
Wait, Guillaume, what are you?
That pendant seems to have imbued Sylvie with some sort of luck charm, chance moving in her favor, at least for this one instance of what she was hoping for when she activated it. I don't know if it'll work again, but it's still an interesting tidbit. I don't know. It's something that's fascinating. It's just I didn't know that there were objects that did that.
Can we use it again?
It's a good question. We should certainly try.
Yeah.
seems it bent probability in her favor for this one event. There's a chance that now would be a good time to go to a gambling house. I don't know if there's any like residual, but if there is, Sylvie should be the one throwing the dice.
With that, I think we pan through the rest of the shop where we see those motes of light kind of like caught in this beam, and we pass through the beam and out into the courtyard where the Fountain of Rainbows sits, and in the myriad of color that's kind of caught in the spray of mist of this fountain, we once again see the symbol of the goddess of luck and chance, Vegela, kind of like formed faintly in the mist. And that is where we're going to call tonight's session. Wow. Well done, y'all. Not what I thought we were going to do tonight, but lots of fun.
We'll get
You had
to
a
the
plan?
killing
We had no
eventually.
plan, so.
I feel like we're on like session 3 of ending by saying, and next time we take on the brothel, or next time we take out the captain.
Yep.
And every time we're like, or we could get deeper into our personal backstories.
Yeah. Yep. But I'm here for it.
But it's so good.
I'm here for it. That's
I'll
where the
clarify,
juice
none of
is.
that was a complaint.
No, I didn't think it was. It's just, it's so good.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm thrilled with that. Again, like, I love being able to tap into character backstory stuff and bring it to the foreground, especially if we can manage to do so in a way that feels both honest with the information that y'all gave me individually, but also with how it fits into the overall story. If we can accomplish both of those things, then I'm a very happy DM. So excellent. I'm going to pass things over to my players so that they can once again touch on who they are, where you may be able to find them, plug anything that they want to plug, and then we're going to call it a night. So we're going to start in reverse order with Karen.
I am Cameron Diego Ruiz Gonzalez, and you can find me here every month, once a month, fourth Wednesday. Oh my God, it was so much fun, Jeremy. It was so much fun. It was lovely being back in this world again. I need 4 weeks to pass real quick. I really do. And with that, I'm going to pass it down to Austin.
Yeah, that was such a blast. Unfindable online as always. But it's so much fun playing with you guys. I'm so excited to be back in this group. And like, I'm so happy that we're like, it's so funny that it took like 35 sessions to learn a single thing about Sylvie. And now everything we're learning is like, I'm sorry, what the fuck is your backstory? It's so great. I'm loving everything that's happening. Where it's like, oh yeah, sure, abandoned as a child. Yeah, raised by spies. Like, yeah, no, none of that was relevant earlier. Sure. It's so great, and I love watching all of you play these characters. And it's so fun to go back in Guillaume. Like, where I was just realizing that I think what I love about playing that is that he's the most and least self-aware person in the world, where he's like, he's so aware of his flaws, but also not that they're flaws. Like, it's, I don't know, it's super fun to do that, like that unfortunate honesty. But yeah, anyway, super fun playing with you all again. It's been way too long. Everybody better make it next month. So with that, I will pass it to M.
And just adding to that, I love that Guillaume, he's so, like, he was so worried about being seen as bad because he was wanting to kill his ex. Like, he was so focused on that, and yet he says some of the most ignorant things, like, and it's totally fine. So I think you play that really, really well. And yeah, great game, so fun. I love the world. It feels so alive. Like it feels like things are happening and we're actively playing a chess game where every decision we make has an offense that is happening to us, and our choices, it feels like our choices matter, and it actually feels like the opposition is making plays against us, which I feel like is very it is very rewarding. So amazing job. I have a blast with this game, as always. So yeah, can't wait for the next session, and I'll pass it to Matt.
Uh, I think that the break honestly did us some good because I feel like everyone was like just firing on all cylinders tonight. There's just like great role play all around. Jeremy, you were just like killing it in the DM seat. Super fun session with like fun character stuff with like everybody. Like I feel like everyone got a little moment this session, which was really nice. And yeah, I I totally agree with what you were saying, and where it's like everything we do, it's like tit for tat. It's like uh it feels personal. Like I don't want to defeat these these villains because they're the bad guys. I want to defeat them because they're fucking with our shit. They're like taking our shops and our, you know what I mean? Like I'm just like, man, fuck these guys. They suck so bad. So it feels very personal. It's going to be so satisfying to see these conclusions. So yeah, really awesome session. Excited for next month. And yeah, you also cannot find me anywhere online. This is kind of where I be these days. So I will pass it on up to Kenya.
Yeah, closing it out. I'm in the spot where I get to say everything those guys said, and just kind of lay off on that. But it literally killed me tonight when I realized we are 42 sessions into this game and we have never once before this asked, where does the Padre live? Like years into this game, and we have never asked that question. But to me, that is such a testament, Jeremy, to the killer game you're running, because we have been so on with everything else that you're putting in front of us and how we've been building the world and the things we've been dealing with, that the big bad evil that we know we're trying to get to, like we aren't even focused on him enough yet to go, oh, where's his house? Like it just blew my mind when I realized that we had done that. And yeah, it's just always such a good game. I love all the characters. I love all the NPCs. I love your storytelling style. Just everything about it, Jeremy. You just completely knock it out of the park. And the dice missed us, guys, because our rolls were hot to trot tonight. Like, we did not roll a lot, but when we did, it mattered and it was outstanding.
It
So
was the blessing from the luck goddess. That's what
exactly,
we
Yeah,
all got that
exactly. We all
blessing.
no
got that
kidding.
tonight. So yeah, so next month. Um, see you guys all in 4 weeks. I'm gonna pass it over to Jeremy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, no, thank you all very much for the exceptionally kind words. I really, really like playing villains that are fun to despise, that have a gravity to them that, like you're saying, when they finally fall, you feel relief, you feel, happiness, you want to end them. um to me, that ends up leading to really big rewards at the end of the story. So I'm happy to know that that's where everybody's at as far as the feels.
Just
um
to just because chat can't see our side chat, I think Austin said it really good. I don't think I've ever played a game where I felt like I had a personal relationship with the villains and wanted to so badly take them down. And that's really the key. It is a personal relationship with these villains.
Good.
That is just like, that's such a great way to put it.
Makes me very, very happy. Yeah, I've kind of always wanted to to have a campaign that went up against a hyper intelligent bad guy. It's always been kind of a thing that I wanted to do, and this felt like the right game for it. So I'm really happy that it's coming across that way, and I cannot wait. I sat down a little while ago and I wrote down like a Act 3 bulleted list of like, these are the things I need to make sure, I accomplish before the story's done. And we're well on the way on several of them. So I'm very, very happy. Okay. Thank all of you very much for being incredible players. Like, this game wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be as good if each one of you hadn't brought such well thought out character backstories that had so much to be able to play with and work into the storyline. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I can't wait. Can't wait. So you're also just awesome human beings, so thank you for that as well. These things are always easier and more fun whenever it's several hours with nerds that I love. So, all right, speaking of nerds that I love, for anybody who happened to be watching, whether you watched live with us as we played or whether you may be tuning in at some point in the future, thank you very, very, very much for spending a little bit of your time here with us. I know that your time is precious, so it really does mean a lot to me that you spent 3.5 hours watching this game. If you did enjoy what you saw, then do all the stuff that the algorithm likes to reward. Hit the like button, subscribe, the bell notification, whatever the fuck that does. I think there's even like another thing called hype. I have no idea what it does either, but whatever. Share the link around. Talk about it with your friends. Leave a comment. Say hi. Tell me what you like about the game. Tell me what you don't like about the game. Yeah, you can find links for other stuff in the description of the video below. Engage at whatever level that you feel comfortable. It's appreciated. What else? Remember that kindness is a free action. It costs you absolutely nothing to be kind to other people, and for the love of fuck, like, we need extra kindness. So lead with kindness when you can. It doesn't always work out, but start the conversation that way. If they're Nazis, then, don't give them the benefit of the doubt. Fuck them. They don't deserve it. Be nice. Fuck ice. I think that's about it. So, I think we can go ahead and get out of here. Alright. Until next time, may your dice roll high and your snacks always be within reach.